How's everyone doing out there? This is the first day of May, and although I didn't know if there was actually going to be a pickups video this month because there's no going out and shopping places, sitting at home and having the time to actually look for stuff online and look for deals and whatnot, still has produced a decent amount of stuff to talk about. So going ahead as scheduled. First of all, it's very diverse. There's like no more than 2 things for any one system, and it's only like 20 games. First of all is this is the last piece of actually the big last gasp before my, what was it even called? GCU, Best Buy GCU ran out, but it wasn't in the store, so I had to wait for this last piece to come in. This is Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron Extended Edition. It's got a weird title. It is a top-down shoot-'em-up from THQ, or published by THQ Nordic. I've been keeping my eye on this. This has been out for a while. It got okay reviews, but it was a $30 price point game anyway. I just, if it was $30 and it got great reviews, I would have gone and picked out right away. You can tell I haven't even opened it yet. I've been playing Animal Crossing, or I was playing Animal Crossing a lot. Now I'm just bouncing around, not sticking to any one thing, but yeah, it's another shoot 'em up, much like Sign Mora. I might play it a little bit. I don't know. There's a lot of shoot 'em ups to play, but it's a good. I like having them in the collection always. Physical shoot 'em ups. I'll go for it. I'll bite. Final Fantasy IV, the complete collection for the PSP. Again, you'll know me. I keep buying games like Final Fantasy, and you'll see there are certain RPG series that if I'm going to play an RPG, or just enjoy having an RPG on my shelf, I'll enjoy, having more Final Fantasies because, the good ones that people like, I'm cool having them. And really, I think Final Fantasy IV, I have the Chronicles thing, but I mostly have the Chronicles for PS1 for Chrono Trigger. I bought that a long time ago. I probably bought that 8 years ago. And it was more about Chrono Trigger than Final Fantasy. But probably the DS or the PSP remake right here with the full, I think it's got full 3D graphics, or it's got full 3D cutscenes at the very least, my understanding. But this also has the After Years, like epilogue part to it. So realistically, I think it's probably one of the best ways to play this game. So it's a good little package here on the PSP. And I also was like thinking, I don't have that much PSP stuff. For a system that I've owned at several points and would know a lot about the library and know there's a lot of stuff I like on there, I don't have that much PSP, and I just feel like I need more. And one PS2 game here, again, you see, like I had Final Fantasy. Mana, the Mana series is always one that kind of grabs my attention, I think, because Secret of Mana is a game that I've played a little bit, and I can get into the groove of its actual, like, combat system and stuff, because it's real time. Anything else that pops up for the Mana series, I'm a little bit more inclined to get it. And Dawn of Mana for the PS2, I feel like they've kind of gone into a Shining Force type of thing where, I have these games and they're not even really all that related to the originals, but the series overall has a good reputation and everything, and yeah, PS2, Dawn of Mana here. No shame in continuing to grab those. We got 2 original Xbox games here. The first one here, this is actually really interesting, the way that this has gone up and down a little bit over the past couple of years, because this is a backwards compatible on Xbox One original Xbox game, which there's only a handful of. I think there's like 25 maybe. And this actually had gone up a lot in price because it's this is the only console version of Jedi Academy, which is the fourth Kyle Katarn game, I'll call it. So you get Dark Force, you get Dark Forces 2, you have Jedi Outcast, and then you have Jedi Academy, which is the last one in the series. And the reason I think this actually got more affordable and has gone down a bit is because they just the limited run remakes and they're not remakes, they're just ports. But now this isn't the cool way to get it, even though it's still the best way to get it on Xbox. But you've got the PS4 and Switch ports of Jedi Academy that just came out. So the hype on this one has died down a little bit, but it goes nicely next to my GameCube copy of Jedi Outcast, my PS1 copy of Dark Forces, and my non-existent copy of Dark Forces 2 because I just got my PC, and I haven't really used it because I still probably need a better one. But Dark Forces 2 would be nice to get at some point, and it never got ported. So as far as I know, it never got ported. It probably hasn't. And then Wrath Unleashed, also a LucasArts game, actually, I just noticed. 2 LucasArts games for the original Xbox. This obviously has nothing to do with Star Wars, but is a cool, kind of similar to a NES game called Archon, which is a sort of chess strategy board game with like warriors. It looks like actually the weird galactic chess that they play on board the Millennium Falcon with the like circular board. It's a hex-based system and everything, but I've heard cool things. I've heard that the character design in here is really cool, and the system itself, the actual game that you're playing, is really interesting. It has a lot of cool stuff going on. If it was a real board game, it would work out pretty well. So that's cool. I got 2 GameCube games here. I'm still just I feel like I'll get anything on the GameCube at this point, including Monster 4x4 Masters of Metal is another monster truck game. I had this weird interest after I played the awful Monster Truck Madness on 64 earlier. I was looking it up. I fell down the Wikipedia hole that there's a Monster Truck Wikipedia, and there's all these I'm looking up Medusa, the wrestler who went on to drive the monster truck named after her and won championships. And I'm like, that's so weird. That's such a weird thing to me. 3 levels down into the monster truck thing, and I did determine that the Monster Jam licensed games, these are actually cool. They're interesting. And while this is still a racing game, it's not like the just Demolition Derby style that you have in Maximum Destruction, for one thing, which is also on the GameCube. I don't have it on GameCube, but I'm actually planning on getting that for GameCube at some point. I would like to change that over. But you have this racing one, and it's probably okay, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, just the Monster Truck, the Monster Jam licensed games are pretty good, and having the GameCube thing is what will make me actually care about this game. And then NBA Live 2005, I was looking over my GameCube stuff, and I've been doing these. I haven't done a whole lot lately. I did the Lord of the Rings stuff instead this past week, but I've been doing these one-off or just short sports game streams, stuff I can just pick up and play and everything. I was looking at mostly doing baseball and golf and stuff, and basketball is not my forte, so I wouldn't really do a lot of basketball streams, but I was still looking at my GameCube stuff and realized, okay, I've got 2K3, I've got a 2K game, I've got Courtside 2002, the actual Nintendo published one. I didn't have any NBA Lives. I didn't have any mid-2000 NBA Lives. I don't actually have any NBA Lives then between the N64 and the PS4 NBA Live 18 that I got because it has a story mode like Madden. I haven't played it, but so I just thought it was interesting. On GameCube, none of them are expensive or anything because I don't think 07 made it out. I think it was just 03, 04, 05, 06 that made it out. So I just did some research. I was like, all right, which one overall is the best one? I'll just pick that up and kind of add that onto the shelf. So I have, if I was going to do basketball streams, I would like to have this feels, I've got all the options for GameCube 6th generation basketball stuff. So that's that. I have 2 actually boxed Game Boy Advance games because they've been popping up. It's been actually able to find them. Not always in great shape, but when you only pay I paid $4.50 for this. Backyard Football 2007. Really weird how Backyard Sports kind of migrated to the handhelds for a couple years and then came back on mostly the Wii and 360. I know there's those weird 360 ones that are like Rookie Rush and they don't say a specific a sport. But the thing about them on the Game Boy, and I've said this a lot with the Backyard Baseball, and there's lots of them. There's hockey. I think they did pretty much everything that they had in their repertoire. They put out a Game Boy Advance version, but the Game Boy versions of these are better in most cases than the console versions that went with this cel-shaded 3D. I think they made a point to keep the cartoony look that they would fit better on the Game Boy Advance, and they did really well with it. So I think football would work out well on there. I used to play football 2002 for hours on the PC, so that'd probably be the closest thing to it that I could get without an actual PC version. And then I didn't. It's one of those things you don't really need, but it's in the box. It's a really nice collection piece to have. Is the first Super Mario Advance. I don't know if anybody else had this experience, but Super Mario Advance, I looked at it as like, oh, they did these games differently. I didn't realize this was Super Mario 2, an older game. So they're like, oh, they're making this new series, and you have to do all these picking up the enemies. You don't kill them by jumping on them and stuff. No, it's just Super Mario 2. That's just where that came from. And so weird that the first game that they decided to port was Super Mario Bros. 2 to the Advance. And this is a very plentiful game compared. I mean, all 4 Mario Advance ports sold really, really well, but I see this all the time. And it's really weird too, because it's like, oh well, you know, it's cheaper and it's more common and everything. Nobody wants Mario Brothers 2 as much, so you get this like, well, just be aware, it's not like the regular Mario games. It's not Mario World or Yoshi's Island or Mario 3. This is Mario 2. It's the weird one, which is still a great game. If you have any hate for Mario Brothers 2, I just think it's unnecessary. Anyway, one PS1 game is Reloaded. Reloaded and Reloaded are probably the most 90s bra PS1 games on the whole system. It's top-down shooter, extreme hardcore blood and gore bra. Supposed to be okay though, so just a really, I don't see Reloaded all that much, so I think I'd pick this up for under $10 or just under $10. So this good little pickup there. Hidden Mysteries Titanic for the original DS. This I actually saw in a Metal Jesus video. I'm always interested in games like this. I like these narrative, like adventure games, and I don't even mind hidden object games that much. I think those are kind of cool. But I have to be told by somebody else, confirmed that it's actually really good, and Metal Jesus kind of did that. So that's cool. I'm down with this. It's a good fit on the DS. It's also on Wii, but I feel like this is a game made for the DS. It would be so much better on there, so that'd be cool. There's all ghosts and shit on there too, so I'm down with that. We got 2 3DS games. This is actually sealed. This came sealed. Excuse me, jeez. Mario Party Island Tour. Now, Island Tour, of the 2 3DS Mario Parties, neither of which are supposed to be. Actually, there's 3 Mario Parties, but one of them is top 100. None of them are supposed to be all that great, but I've never played any of the portable Mario Parties. Even though I own the DS one, but in any case, I've not played any of the portable Mario Parties, and they always try to do something different from what I can tell, because it doesn't translate well ever. So this would be really interesting. I do intend on checking out how they try to make Mario Party work on portables, and never seem to get it quite right. But oh my god, it's getting so much nicer outside. It was terrible today. It wasn't raining. It wasn't pouring, but it was raining, and it was just an ugly day. Pokemon Rumble Blast. Now this is a really, really weird series to look at. It goes back to I think it was a DSi game. I could be wrong about that, but I know it was a Wii game as well, or a Wii or Wii U downloadable game, like Pokemon Rumble U or something. And it kind of had the precursor to Amiibos with it, because they had these little figures that you would touch to the 3DS or to whatever with the NFC. I think it uses the same NFC technology. But they're these little, like, really low poly models of Pokemon, and it's just like a beat 'em up, from what I can tell, with like arena fighting. Really weird stuff. You never see Pokemon spin-offs take off all that well. Like, the past couple years, I think Mystery Dungeon has been a really popular series, but very few people really get super behind it. Same with Rumble Blast, same with Troze. Like, they had a bunch of these on the DS, Troze and Conquest and all that stuff, and I'd love to see all these things that they tried to do with Pokemon, but really it's just main series games that you gotta do. 2 PS3 games here. One of them is Rock of the Dead, from the great music game boom of the late 2000s, early 2010s. Published by Conspiracy. Always a good sign, right? I never picked this game up, even though it is super weird and super... I don't know, kudos on trying to do something different. I do really give credit for that. And I've tried this game before because I always thought it was really interesting. It is not a licensed music soundtrack, and you have a different set of things, and you have a slightly different appearance, and note, highway, none of that. It's not like that. They basically took a rail shooter, like a Typing of the Dead, basically, but on a guitar. And it's just not that interesting to just play this note, this chord, this blah blah blah. But I got it for like $5, and it's just like, I have all these music games. It's one of the things I play the most. So, yeah, just throw it in there. See what they really think that they were trying to do with it. Like I won't buy Rock Revolution. I won't buy Six String. I won't buy any of that stuff that's actually like trying to rip off Rock Band and be garbage at it. I much prefer Rock of the Dead that tried to do something different and didn't do great at it, but it's an interesting look. This is Sega Golf Club, a PS3 Japanese exclusive golf game from Sega that's supposed to be pretty good. I have not tried it yet, but PS3s are region free, and it's cool to pick up stuff like that. Oh yeah, I forgot there's stuff inside it that falls out. Oh yeah. The way that people from Japan, when they ship you stuff, they're very appreciative, and they send you little notes. And it's a little, was this an origami crane? Yeah, they put a little origami crane inside of it. I once bought Hotline Miami for the Vita, and it had a tea bag inside of it. It's just really funny when that happens. I went to open this, and I was like, yeah, there's stuff inside of here, and it falls out. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I bought it from Japan, and they always do that. And then lastly, there's two PS4 games here. I got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. As soon as I bought this and was waiting on it, I was like, really, oh god, you gotta catch up with this. So I played Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I had on Xbox One this month. But I really wanted this one because it's got this very nice steelbook. And this game is still, in the $10 to $20 range, but the steelbook is really nice. So I'm really cool with that. Yeah, Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raiders are ripping off Uncharted, and they will never be as good as Uncharted. I would rather play the first Uncharted, which is by far the weakest one, than the first Tomb Raider from the reboot, which I found was stronger than Rise of the Tomb Raider, just to give you an idea. But it's one of those things like, well, I've played all the really good ones, give me the things that are trying to be it. Lastly, though, this is Life is Strange 2. I loved the first Life is Strange. I loved Before the Storm. I have not been able to make myself want to play this yet because it doesn't deal with the same characters, and so I have to kind of get over this hump where I'm like, yeah, it's going to be the same type of story, but it's going to be different people and not the same setting, but completely different characters, mostly all around, I think. So that's the only reason that I'm like, yeah, I'm not dying to play it, like I was with the other stuff, because it's somewhat unrelated. And that's it. That's it for this month. Little bit of everything. That's all I have to say. See you next month. Bye.